Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today I want to remind every woman in this room that you are more than just flesh and bone. You are a divine creation, fearfully and wonderfully made. Whether you realize it or not, God's blessings are upon you. But how do you know you are a woman truly blessed by God? Here are 8 powerful signs that confirm His hand upon your life. Faith, the foundation of a blessed woman. Faith is the core of a woman blessed by God. It is not just a belief in His existence, but a deep trust in His plans, even when circumstances seem uncertain. A woman with unshakable faith understands that life will have trials, but she chooses to stand firm, knowing that God is in control. Her faith is not based on what she sees, but on what she believes. A woman of faith does not allow fear to dictate her decisions. She walks boldly, even in the face of adversity, because she knows that God goes before her. She understands that challenges are not meant to break her, but to build her. Every obstacle becomes a testimony of God's power working in her life. She finds peace in prayer. When the world feels chaotic, she does not panic. Instead, she kneels. She knows that her strength does not come from her own abilities, but from her relationship with God. She prays with expectation, believing that God hears her and will answer in His perfect time. Her faith is not shaken by delay or disappointment. She understands that sometimes God's no or not yet is a redirection towards something greater. She trusts that His plans are better than her own. Even when she cannot yet see the full picture, her heart remains steadfast because she knows He is always working behind the scenes. A woman with deep faith influences those around her. People see her unwavering confidence in God and are inspired to trust Him more. She does not just keep her faith to herself. She shares it through her words, her kindness, and her actions. She becomes a vessel through which others see the goodness of God. Her faith gives her joy that is not dependent on circumstances. Even in difficult times, she can smile, knowing that God's promises are true. She does not let the world's troubles steal her peace, for she knows that God is greater than any problem she faces. Her joy is a reflection of her trust in Him. Faith also brings wisdom. A woman rooted in faith does not make decisions based on emotions alone. She seeks God's guidance and waits for His direction. She understands that faith is not just about believing, but also about acting in obedience. She follows His lead, even when it requires patience or sacrifice. Above all, her faith is a lifelong journey. She continuously grows, learning to trust God in deeper ways. Each season of life strengthens her belief in His goodness. She knows that faith is not about having all the answers, but about trusting the one who does. Through every trial, every triumph, and every unknown, she remains steadfast, knowing she is held by the hands of a faithful God. Purpose, walking in divine calling. A woman blessed by God does not wander through life without direction. She understands that she was created for a purpose far greater than herself. She may not always see the full picture, but she trusts that every step she takes is part of a divine plan. Her life is not accidental, it is intentional, designed by God to bring light and impact to the world around her. Her purpose is not defined by society's standards, but by God's calling. The world may try to tell her who she should be, what she should do, and how she should live. But she listens to the voice of God above all else. She understands that true fulfillment comes not from worldly success, but from walking in obedience to His will. She does not compare her journey to others. A woman of purpose knows that her path is unique. She does not envy another woman's gifts or achievements, because she trusts that God has given her exactly what she needs for her own calling. Instead of competing, she celebrates others while staying focused on her own divine assignment. Even when she faces obstacles, she remains committed to her purpose. Challenges do not discourage her, they refine her. She knows that every trial she overcomes makes her stronger and more prepared for what God has in store. She understands that delays are not denials and that God's timing is always perfect. A woman of purpose is constantly growing. She seeks wisdom, knowledge, and spiritual guidance to develop her gifts. She does not settle for mediocrity because she knows she was created for greatness. She invests in herself, knowing that preparation is essential for walking fully in her calling. She impacts others through her purpose. Whether she is called to be a mother, a teacher, a businesswoman, a minister, or a leader, she understands that her role is significant. She does not underestimate her influence, recognizing that even the smallest acts of kindness and service can change lives. Her purpose brings her fulfillment. She does not live for mere survival, but thrives in the joy of knowing she is making a difference. She wakes up each day with a sense of mission, knowing that her life has meaning beyond temporary pleasures. She embraces her role with passion and dedication. Above all, a woman of purpose seeks God daily to stay aligned with His plans. She understands that her purpose is not something she has to figure out on her own, but something revealed through her relationship with Him. She remains open to His guidance, willing to shift, grow, and embrace whatever He calls her to do next. Love kindness. A heart that reflects God. A woman blessed by God carries a heart full of love and kindness. She does not love selectively or conditionally, but with a heart that mirrors God's own. Her love is not just words, it is shown through her actions, her compassion, and her willingness to help those in need. She understands that love is the greatest commandment, and she strives to live it out daily. Her kindness is not based on how others treat her. Even when she encounters rudeness, disrespect, or betrayal, she chooses love over bitterness. She knows that responding with kindness does not make her weak, it makes her strong. She does not let negativity harden her heart, for she understands that love is more powerful than hate. She forgives easily. A woman blessed by God does not hold grudges or seek revenge. She understands that forgiveness is not about excusing wrongdoing, but about freeing her own heart from the burden of resentment. She chooses peace over pride, knowing that God has forgiven her, and she must extend that same grace to others. Her love is selfless. She is willing to serve, to give, and to sacrifice for the well-being of others. Whether it's in her family, her friendships, or her community, she looks for ways to uplift and encourage. She does not help others for recognition or reward, but out of a genuine desire to make a difference. A woman of love and kindness speaks life into others. She is careful with her words, using them to inspire, heal, and encourage rather than to tear down. She knows that words have power, and she chooses to use hers wisely. Whether through a kind gesture or a heartfelt conversation, she brings warmth and comfort to those around her. She finds joy in giving. A blessed woman is generous with her time, resources, and love. She understands that true wealth is not in material possessions, but in the ability to bless others. She does not give out of obligation, but from a heart that delights in making a difference in someone's life. Her love extends beyond those who love her in return. She is kind to the stranger, the forgotten, and even to those who may not deserve it. She does not love for approval, but because she understands that God's love has no boundaries. She chooses to reflect His unconditional love in a world that often lacks it. Above all, her heart remains open to God. She seeks His guidance in how to love better, how to forgive deeper, and how to extend kindness even when it's difficult. Her love is not just a feeling, but a reflection of her faith. Through her kindness, she becomes a living example of God's grace, shining His light wherever she goes. A woman blessed by God is not defined by the hardships she faces, but by the strength she uses to overcome them. Life is full of trials, but she refuses to let difficulties break her spirit. Instead, she sees challenges as opportunities for growth, trusting that God is refining her through every struggle. She understands that true strength does not come from her own abilities, but from her faith in God. She does not give up easily. When obstacles arise, she does not retreat in fear or frustration. Instead, she stands firm, knowing that every battle she faces has already been won by God. She does not allow temporary setbacks to discourage her, because she believes that even in the midst of hardship, God is working for her good. Her strength is not just physical or emotional, it is spiritual. She knows that real power comes from her connection with God. She spends time in prayer, seeking His guidance and renewing her spirit. When the weight of the world feels too heavy, she leans on His promises, knowing He will carry her through. A strong woman embraces resilience. She has been through pain, betrayal, loss, and disappointment, yet she continues to rise. She understands that her past struggles have only made her wiser and more prepared for the future. Every difficulty she has faced has strengthened her character, teaching her patience, perseverance, and faith. She does not let fear control her. Even when faced with uncertainty, she chooses courage over doubt. She trusts that God has already gone before her and that He will provide everything she needs. She does not allow anxiety or worry to consume her mind, because she knows that her future is secure in God's hands. Her strength is also shown in her ability to be vulnerable. She knows that being strong does not mean pretending she has it all together. A blessed woman is not afraid to seek help, to admit when she is struggling, or to lean on those who support her. She understands that true strength is not about standing alone, but about knowing when to rely on God and the people He has placed in her life. She lifts others up. A woman of strength does not just fight her own battles, she helps others fight theirs too. She encourages, supports, and prays for those who are struggling. She uses her experiences to inspire and guide others, reminding them that they too can overcome anything with God's help. Above all, she knows that her strength is a gift from God. She does not boast in her own abilities, but gives glory to Him for every victory. She remains humble, knowing that without Him, she would not have made it this far. Through every trial and triumph, she continues to walk with unwavering faith, knowing that God is her ultimate source of strength. Inspiration, a light that uplifts others. A woman blessed by God is an inspiration to those around her. She does not need a stage or a microphone to make an impact. Her life itself is a testimony of faith, perseverance, and grace. The way she carries herself, the way she treats others, and the way she overcomes challenges serve as a beacon of hope for those who cross her path. Her strength and resilience inspire others to keep going. People see how she handles difficulties with faith and determination, and it encourages them to do the same. She does not allow hardships to make her bitter. Instead, she uses them as stepping stones to greater wisdom. Her ability to rise above struggles teaches others that no obstacle is too great when God is with them. She leads by example. A woman of inspiration does not just speak words of encouragement, she lives them. She practices what she preaches, showing kindness, honesty, and humility in her daily life. Her actions speak louder than words, and people trust her because they see the consistency of her character. She shares her wisdom freely. Instead of keeping her knowledge and experiences to herself, she willingly pours into others. She mentors, advises, and encourages, knowing that her journey can help someone else navigate theirs. She does not see others as competition, but as people she can uplift and support. Her words bring life. She is careful with what she says, choosing to uplift rather than tear down. She speaks hope to the discouraged, guidance to the lost, and love to the hurting. Whether through a kind word, a prayer, or a simple smile, she makes others feel valued and seen. She is a source of peace and comfort. People are drawn to her, because of the peace she carries within her. When others are anxious or troubled, she reassures them with faith-filled words and a calming presence. Her trust in God is so strong that it naturally transfers to those who are around her, reminding them that everything will be okay. She embraces her calling to inspire. She understands that God has placed her in certain positions, relationships, and circumstances for a reason. Whether she is a mother, a teacher, a businesswoman, or a leader, she knows that her influence has the power to change lives. She does not take this responsibility lightly, but seeks God's guidance in how to use her voice and actions for good. Above all, she remains humble. A woman of inspiration does not seek applause or recognition. She does not inspire to be admired, but to serve. She knows that her light comes from God and she reflects it back to Him, always giving Him the glory for the impact she has on others. Gratitude, a heart that sees abundance. A woman blessed by God lives with a heart full of gratitude. She does not focus on what she lacks, but rejoices in what she has. She understands that every breath, every opportunity, and every blessing comes from God. Instead of complaining about what is missing, she chooses to give thanks for all that has been given to her. Her gratitude is not based on circumstances, it is a lifestyle. She recognizes even the smallest blessings. While others may take daily provisions, health, or relationships for granted, she sees them as gifts from God. She does not wait for something grand to happen before she expresses thankfulness. Whether it is a moment of peace, the laughter of loved ones, or the beauty of nature, she appreciates it all. Her gratitude strengthens her faith. She understands that thanking God for what He has already done positions her to receive more. Even in difficult times, she finds something to be grateful for. She knows that gratitude shifts her focus from problems to possibilities and from worry to trust in God's goodness. She does not allow challenges to steal her gratitude. Life may bring hardships, but she refuses to dwell on negativity. Instead, she sees trials as opportunities to grow. She thanks God not just for the good days, but also for the lessons learned through struggles. She believes that even in pain there is purpose, and in every season there is something to be grateful for. A woman of gratitude spreads joy. Her thankful spirit is contagious. When others are consumed by complaints and negativity, she remains a source of light, reminding them of the good that still exists. She encourages people to count their blessings rather than their burdens, creating an atmosphere of joy and positivity wherever she goes. She gives generously because she is grateful. A thankful heart is also a giving heart. She understands that God has blessed her so that she can be a blessing to others. She does not hesitate to share what she has, whether it is time, resources, or kindness, because she trusts that God will always provide. Gratitude keeps her humble. She does not see herself as self-made, but recognizes that everything she has is a result of God's grace. She does not boast in her own achievements, but acknowledges God as the source of her success. Her humility allows her to stay grounded, knowing that all glory belongs to Him. Above all, her gratitude deepens her relationship with God. She does not only go to Him in times of need, but also in times of thanksgiving. She wakes up each day with a heart full of praise, knowing that every moment is a gift. Her gratitude fuels her worship, her prayers, and her ability to see God's hand in every part of her life. Wisdom, a heart that seeks God's guidance. A woman blessed by God walks in wisdom, not relying solely on her own understanding, but seeking divine direction in all things. She knows that true wisdom comes from God, and she humbly seeks His guidance through prayer, scripture, and reflection. She does not rush into decisions impulsively, but takes time to discern the right path, trusting that God will lead her steps. She values knowledge, but understands that wisdom is more than just intelligence. She does not simply accumulate information, she applies it in ways that bring life and honor to God. She knows that wisdom is not about knowing everything, but about using what she knows to make choices that align with God's will. A wise woman listens more than she speaks. She understands the power of words and chooses them carefully. She does not engage in gossip or meaningless arguments, but speaks with purpose and grace. She knows that her words can either build up or tear down, and she strives to use them to bring peace, encouragement, and understanding. She surrounds herself with wise counsel. A woman of wisdom does not isolate herself or assume she has all the answers. She seeks guidance from mentors, elders, and those who have walked in faith before her. She values the wisdom of those who have experienced life's challenges and humbly learns from their insights. Her wisdom is evident in the way she handles conflict. She does not let emotions control her actions, but responds with patience and understanding. When faced with difficult situations, she chooses resolution over revenge and peace over pride. She understands that wisdom is shown not just in what she says, but in how she reacts. She makes decisions based on faith, not fear. A wise woman does not let anxiety dictate her choices. Instead of acting out of worry or desperation, she places her trust in God and moves forward with confidence. She knows that God's plans are greater than her own, and she surrenders her desires to His perfect timing. She continually seeks growth. A woman of wisdom never believes she has learned enough. She studies the Word of God, prays for deeper understanding, and remains open to correction and learning. She knows that wisdom is not a one-time achievement, but a lifelong pursuit. And she commits herself to growing spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. Above all, her wisdom is reflected in her character. She does not seek to prove how much she knows, but instead lives in a way that demonstrates God's truth. She walks with integrity, makes decisions that honor God, and leads others through her example. Through her wisdom, she becomes a light to those around her, showing them what it means to live a life rooted in God's wisdom and love. Peace, a heart that trusts in God. A woman blessed by God carries an unshakable peace within her. This peace is not based on her circumstances, but on her trust in God's sovereignty. She does not allow external chaos to disturb her inner calm, because she knows that God is in control of her life. Her heart is anchored in His promises, and no storm can shake her faith. She does not live in constant worry. While others may be consumed by fear and anxiety, she chooses to rest in God's assurance. She understands that worrying does not change anything, but trusting in God does. She surrenders her burdens to Him, knowing that He will take care of every need and concern. Her peace is evident in how she handles challenges. When difficulties arise, she does not react with panic or despair. Instead, she faces them with a quiet confidence, knowing that God is working behind the scenes. She does not allow temporary hardships to steal her joy, because she trusts that God's plan is greater than any present struggle. She cultivates peace in her relationships. A woman of peace does not stir up conflict or hold grudges. She seeks to bring reconciliation where there is division and understanding where there is tension. She does not waste energy on unnecessary arguments, but chooses to respond with love, patience, and wisdom. She protects her peace. She is careful about what she allows into her mind and heart. She does not entertain negativity, toxic relationships, or anything that disrupts her spirit. She surrounds herself with things that uplift her faith and keep her focused on God's goodness. She knows that guarding her peace is essential to living a joyful and fulfilled life. Her peace comes from prayer. She knows that whenever she feels overwhelmed, she can turn to God for strength. She does not try to figure everything out on her own, but finds comfort in His presence. She prays not just for solutions, but for the peace that surpasses all understanding, trusting that God will provide what she needs. She spreads peace to those around her. People are drawn to her calming presence and the wisdom in her words. She does not add to the world's noise and confusion, but instead brings a sense of comfort and reassurance. Whether in her home, workplace, or community, she is a peacemaker who encourages others to trust in God's plan. Above all, she knows that true peace comes from her relationship with God. She does not rely on external sources for happiness or security. Her peace is rooted in the knowledge that she is loved, protected, and guided by a faithful God. No matter what life brings, she remains steadfast, knowing that He is her refuge and strength. A life that reflects God's blessings, a woman blessed by God, is not defined by worldly success, wealth, or status. Instead, she carries within her the qualities that reflect His presence in her life: faith, love, strength, wisdom, peace, and gratitude. She is not perfect, but she is constantly growing, learning, and trusting in God's plan. Her life serves as a testimony to God's goodness. Through every challenge she faces, she continues to walk with unwavering faith, knowing that He is guiding her every step. She understands that true blessings are not just material, but are found in the joy, purpose, and peace that come from a close relationship with God. She inspires others through her actions, words, and the love she shares. Whether in her family, workplace, or community, she shines as a light, bringing hope and encouragement to those around her. She does not seek recognition, but lives humbly, knowing that everything she has comes from the grace of God. Above all, she remains rooted in her faith. No matter what life brings, she continues to trust in God's promises, knowing that He is always with her. She embraces her identity as a woman blessed by God, walking forward with confidence, purpose, and a heart full of gratitude.